Welcome to the Random City Podcast.
Chester Pepperpot! He was a pro! He never made it this far.
A competitor. He was very good.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Just listen to the old Pork Chop Express take his advice on a dark and stormy night.
A person is smart, people are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
When Godzilla's coming, y'all be tripping.
Where did you come from? From your blood.
I'm Groot. You will be.
You underestimate my power.
He's gonna be the third scariest thing on that train.
These guys come from legend. They're basically gods.
There's only one god, man, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Welcome back to the Random City Podcast. It's time to get random. Today, we're going to be talking about some new and different things on the show. One thing I'll be discussing is something I got over the holiday season, and that was a Nintendo Switch. I've been playing several games there. We're going to probably do a brief overview of a few of those. Having a good time there. So one thing I want to bring up here at the beginning of the show, I've hired a new audio engineer for the show. His name's Hank. Heard about him on another show, and I reached out, and now Hank has joined the Random City Podcast family. So, Hank, why don't you come on over here? Hello. Pop. Hank. You know you're not supposed to do that to the mic. Hello. Hank, come on now. We had a talk. I know you do this on the James Arnold Taylor podcast. You said you would not do it here. Oh, I know, Jimmy, but I like saying hello. All right, Hank, go back to the booth. We'll talk to you later. Since we're talking video games, I might as well talk something I saw just now on Twitter. It is January the 5th as I record, and this may or may not be posted in a timely manner. We'll find out soon. I still haven't decided on a release schedule exactly for this year as we move into 2019. One thing I just saw, though, Warner Brother Games, probably because of some legal issue, it seems, has removed the Lego Lord of the Rings and the Lego Hobbit video games from all digital platforms. So I assume, based on that and a little bit of an article I read, I guess their license with the Tolkien estate has expired, and thus those can no longer be sold in that platform. Now, granted, if you have a Wii U, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever version of the game, theoretically you're supposed just to be able to play those, but one thing that's a problem with video games in general these days, most games you have to have an update almost immediately when you go to install it or whatever. You put it in your Switch, your Xbox, your PlayStation, whatever it is. Some kind of file wants to download before you can play it, generally speaking. Not every time, but most of the time. And so at some point, maybe these games don't work. And I guess that's one of the problems with this whole modern thing. One of the games I got for Christmas was Spyro, the Reignited trilogy. So it has theoretically 3 games on the disc. It doesn't have 3 games on the disc. It came with, I think from what the best I understand, most of the first game, if not all of the first game, and part of the second game. When I went to play the game, I had to download, I believe it was 40 gigabytes worth of data to play Spyro. And so again, in the future, if you were just getting the disc, that disc is almost pointless if it's not still being supported out there in perpetuity by, I think that one was Bob's Games or something random. But yeah, I think that's an issue. I like the fact, I can go to my Nintendo Entertainment System, pop in Pro Wrestling, and play Pro Wrestling. I can pop in a Sega Genesis cartridge, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, all these older systems. I can just pop a game in and play it. No big deal. But yeah, in the future, that's not going to be the case in some of these more modern things. And I feel like modern gaming, to some degree, is going to be lost, which is an interesting thing in our modern day and age with all of our digital everything. That's, I don't know, it's just interesting to me, at least, maybe not to you. So anyway, we'll move on from that. So my Nintendo Switch, got it actually early December, played a couple games prior to Christmas, got a game for Christmas, bought a couple digital games because they were cheap. But anyway, I'll just run down the list here. The first game I got, because it was on sale, was the Mario Rabbids Kingdom Invasion, which was pretty fun. It was not a normal Mario game. It was developed by Ubisoft. It was more of a turn-based, battle game. I don't know. I played through the regular missions. I beat the game as far as that goes. There are some other, there's a DLC that I have not purchased. There are some other little missions you can go on to earn extra coins or whatever. It's a fun little game. Not for everybody. Definitely not your typical Mario. Around that same time, I picked up a digital game. Man, that's the problem with digital games. I honestly can't think of what it's called right off the top of my head. It's like Turbo Racing, something like that. It's like kind of a retro style game. It's similar to some of the games from like the 80s in a lot of ways. I think like an Outrun. There was another game. I'm thinking an old Sega arcade game was kind of like this. But anyway, there's a lot of races. You collect little tokens as you race. You get gas while you race. It's a fun little racing game. It's not Mario Kart, but it's not designed to be Mario Kart either. The next thing, actually, I forgot to mention already, wasn't actually a game, I guess, technically. But for $20, you get Nintendo Online Service, and I picked up the little card to do that. And so I have access to, I think, in the neighborhood of 30 old Nintendo games from the NES. And so I've played through some of those. I'm not a big fan of the controllers that come with the Nintendo Switch to play these old platformy type games, especially. Have to have very precise controls to do those properly. And I found a device that I got about a week ago. Well, I think it was called 8BitO. And this little purple thing, so you can plug in on one side a GameCube controller. So if you want to play Smash Brothers or whatever with a GameCube controller, like lots of folks like to, or on the other side, you can plug in basically the style from the Wii, like the Nunchuck. But if you have the Nintendo Classic or the Super Nintendo Classic, those controllers have that same style plug, and so that plugs into the other end. So now, thanks to this device for about $20, I can play the old NES games with the NES Classic controller, which is pretty good. I like that a lot better. Okay, speaking of that, so there's a few games I've been trying to play with the GameCube controller, because I do enjoy the GameCube controller. I have I downloaded a copy of Rocket League. It was like $9.99, so I was like, wow, that's a pretty good deal. So downloaded that. So that's been kind of fun playing that soccer game with the cars. Something I had not played on the PS4. Thought it looked fun several years ago and just never bought it because it was kind of pricey. But yeah, it's been kind of fun. It's just still one of those games like any other online game. There's a learning curve, and you kind of have to just jump in there and figure out how to play. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I enjoy it. I like you can unlock little things to decorate and design your car. So that's pretty fun. So the game I got for Christmas was Mario Odyssey, which is kind of the game you need to have if you have a Switch. I think there's two. I haven't got the other one yet. But the two games that you pretty much need to have with your Switch are Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. And I played through, I want to say about 10 levels of the Mario Odyssey since Christmas. And I haven't played tons of time, just being out of town and things, working. And so I really like that, though. It's been a fun game. It's a good Mario game. It's a successor, in my mind, to something like the Mario 64 style game. Yes, there are elements of the normal Mario things, but it is in that three-dimensional world. I like that it's just a world. You kind of run around, do what you want. Kind of open world, open map, whatever. Not so linear. I think that's pretty fun. I like that you can change outfits and they do certain things to get you into certain buildings. It was fun. Just going through some of the stuff I'd seen online for the past, year and a few months, however long ago this came out. The other thing I have checked out since the Nintendo Switch is a handheld device, and there are some cool things there, and I have not played other places. There are a lot of free-to-play games or free-to-start games, and I'm not one of those who's going to go spend money on the things you get in them, but I checked out a few. I tried out Pokemon Quest. It looks kind of like Minecraft meets Pokemon. Not really for me. I do like Pokemon in some ways here and there, but that particular game, it kind of auto plays, and so there's not much to do. And then you have to feed your Pokemon. Just not really what I'm looking for. There was a game called Paladins I tried out. That's one of those kind of first-person shooter team games where you go around and killing people. It's okay. It's kind of like Fortnite, which I also tried out. Never played that until got the Switch. I know Fortnite's a phenomenon. People are all about it. I'm not a big fan. I mean, it's okay. I like the building stuff and hiding, because that's generally what I do, because I'm not good at shooting people. I usually just get sniped and die, just like any other online shooter. I tried out a game called Brawlhalla, which is kind of a rip-off of Smash Brothers, and again, it's free. I checked it out. Also did a demo version of Mega Man 11, And there was one other game that I actually really enjoyed called Warframe. And this is a free to start game, free to play game. And yes, you can invest money into it. It looks awesome. It kind of reminds me of a Halo type game, but it's free. And if you have a Switch, I would definitely suggest checking out Warframe. And by the way, I'm looking at my Switch right in this moment. So now I can go back and say that racing game that I bought was Horizon Chase Turbo. I highly recommend Horizon Chase Turbo Warframe if you haven't checked either of those out. Pretty sure both of these games are on other platforms, so you could probably play them on PS4 or Xbox One. Same thing with Rocket League. Of course, the Mario games are Mario games, so they're on the Switch only. But yeah, I've had fun with the Switch. If you haven't had a chance to check one out, check it out. I never even had held one of these until I got it recently, so I think they're a lot of fun. And it's very cool how you can go from handheld to the screen almost instantaneously, and that's definitely a step forward in gaming in my book. And I guess we'll see what happens in the future. There's been rumors for a while for a Switch Pro, a nicer version, maybe a larger screen, faster processor, that kind of stuff. But that has not been confirmed as of yet. And we'll see. We'll see how all that goes. Anyway, I've been enjoying the Switch. If you have one, let me know what you think. Send me an email, write a comment, whatever it is easiest for you. And I guess that's going to wrap up this edition of the Random City Podcast. There's all sorts of ways you can get in contact with me. Like I've already mentioned, email us randomcitypodcast@gmail.com. You can call into the show, leave a voicemail for us, 773-71-RANDOM. You can hit us up on social media at Random City on Twitter, at Random City Podcast on Instagram. We have the YouTube channel, so you can hit us up with comments and things there as well. Check out randomcitypodcast.com. All right, Hank, hit that theme music. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much going to wrap this up. So we'll be seeing you soon with the next episode of the Random City Podcast. And until then, I'm Jimmy in Georgia. Peace.